Hi, my name is Phil Tompkinson, Technical Director here at i2B. Today I'm going to take you through a training session as a vendor for a client of ours who are using our i2B software to communicate with you. There are two supplier interfaces, light and full. The light version is a quick, easily accessed system giving you access to view your purchase orders directly from your emails with no need for remembering any login details or passwords. The full version requires a username and password but gives you access to many more functions within the i2B platform. This training session is for the full account version of i2B. If you need training on the light version of i2B, the link to that training video is in the description below. Okay, so let's get started. During this training video, we'll be introducing the functions available to you as a full vendor user within the i2B system. We'll go through a live demo showing you the process steps from the point of receiving an alert about a new order to accessing and performing functions within the system. You'll be shown how to view your orders, accept and decline them, request changes, ship and invoice via the tool. We'll finish off with how you can get some support and help if you need it following this training session. What we'll do is go through the full process from receiving your order all the way through to shipment and invoice. The first thing we'll look at is receiving an alert for a new or changed order. The alert will come from do not reply at i2b-online.com, but the subject will be an email alert from your customer using i2b to communicate with you. In this case, for this demonstration, the email alert example is from the i2B testing company, but this subject will actually show you the company name who's placing an order on you via i2B. The contents of the email will be brief, but it will tell you primarily the order number and the line number and what is happening with that. So in this example, it's telling you that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 new lines being placed for a new order on you. The email would also, if there was any changes to any existing orders, inform you of delivery date changes, price changes, quantity changes, and there would be just a link here to view that PO. And that's basically it from the email point of view. There's no PDF, there's no attachment. It's just a real-time link to log into the i2B system to view and action the purchase order from within there. You may receive other email alerts, and they are generally reminders. So once you've received an email to tell you about a new order, if within 2 days you've not actioned that order, and then that means have you accepted or declined the order, you'll receive a reminder with a fresh link to click on that link to actually view the order and action it within the i2B platform. The link, when you click on it, will take you off to a website. And what I'll do next is take you through that process. Before I do that, I'll show you what we're going to go through next. This is accepting and declining your orders, chat facilities with the purchasing representative of your customer, the buyer, the facilities available to you for printing and downloading orders, and also what you can do with regarding requesting changes to orders within the i2B system. So let's log in. When you click on the link on the email, it will take you through to a website. Now that website can be accessed via any device that has internet and browser access on it. So in this demonstration, on this training video today, I'll be showing you the system through a desktop, but the system also performs well through tablets, iPads, and mobile phones. So for example, you could receive an alert on your email on your mobile device. You click on the link to view your order, log into the i2B system, and you can view and action your orders through your mobile device. For this training session today, I'm going to be using a desktop, but yes, the system does work perfectly well through any mobile. Okay, so first thing that you need to do is enter in your login details here. So you will have a username, and this is defaulted in because I've previously logged in before, so it remembers that. An ID and a password. These will be provided to you by your purchasing representative at your customer. Just enter those in and click on the accept button to log in. It's worth noting here that the system is available in multiple languages. If you click on the language button at the bottom here, we have currently Chinese, English, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Romanian, Russian, and Spanish. If you prefer to use the system in any of those languages, all you do is just click on the language that you prefer. So let's say Chinese here. And the system automatically shows you the interface in that particular language. Again, here I'll pick Italian just to show you the differences between those two. Okay, so for this demonstration, for this test video, I'm going to be logging in as English, but it's very simple just to check and change your language, preferred language. Okay, so I'm going to log in, enter in the details that I've been provided with previously. And when I first log into the system, I'm taken through to my dashboard. See, the dashboard over here is highlighted. Now what I can see here is that there are number 4. So there are 4 orders that require my immediate attention. And these are shown here in this top section here. I can change the view. So if I click on this drop down here, I can see orders that are awaiting response at a header level. I can see orders awaiting response at a line level. I can see orders that are changed or are new. I can see all my open purchase orders at header or line level. I can see any delivery schedules if there are any at header and line level. Or I can see any open or delivered purchase orders going back in time historically. What I need to do though when I first log in is actually action these orders that are awaiting my response. So I can see here that these are the 4 orders that require my attention. And what I can do is just click on the actual purchase order number. So for example, this one, I will click on here. And what that does is brings up the purchase order onto the screen. Now this is a purchase order that is always kept up to date and is real time. This is not a PDF or a hard copy of a purchase order. So every time that you go in and view by clicking on the purchase order number, you are seeing the latest version of that PO. So if there's been any changes to that purchase order, they will be reflected on the screen. We can see here that we have the delivery dates for this particular PO, part number, description, how much has been ordered, if there's anything being delivered, so we can see these are being delivered, and the price and extended price, total value at the bottom of that PO, any particular terms and conditions. We have a number of options at the top of the screen. We can accept the full order, action, or print. If I print the PO, it just prints it out on my printer. If I accept the full order, it will just mark that whole order as being accepted by you. and it will send an alert immediately to the buyer to tell them that you are accepting that order. The other option is to click on the action button. If I click on the action button, it gives me two options. I can either accept the order and put in some comments and then click the accept order button, or I can click this toggle here and change it to decline order, and I can put some comments in there as to why I'm declining the order and then click on decline order. Every time that we put comments into the system, they will be immediately delivered back to the buyer. So instead of using emails, which can obviously get lost, or communication can get lost quite easily via email, everything is done through the i2B platform. It's fully audited, and the buyer can log into the i2B system at any time and see comments that you've left, as well as being immediately alerted to those comments via email. We can also accept these orders from the dashboard screen just by clicking the tick box next to these purchase order numbers and then clicking the accept button here at the top. What that does is immediately marks those orders that you have checked or ticked as being accepted, and it saves you individually going into each purchase order and clicking the accept full order button. Okay, what else can we see on here? Well, on the dashboard, we can see that the buyer has marked this particular order as being important. We can also see in here we have some icons available to us. There is a history button. If I click on that, it will show me a full history of that particular purchase order from the moment it was created. If there was any changes to that purchase order, they will be recorded in the order history. Also, if there was any chat or talk done by you or the buyer, that would also be recorded into the order history here. What I can do is scroll over and we can see different things here. We can see the buyer. We can click down on the buyer to see who actually raised that order. As you see here in this example, it was Sam with some contact details. We can see here that the status has been marked as viewed, so you've actually viewed that order, but it's awaiting approval. So the approval column is empty and the date column is also empty as well. As soon as you mark this order as accepted or declined, these columns will automatically update. We can see here the first delivery date for that particular order, the delivery location, vendor reference, which I'll go into in a moment, and the value. If I change this to await and response with lines, what happens is it just expands that view out a little bit more. So if you can see here now that we've got line number 1, 2, and 3, and if I scroll over, we can actually see part number, material description, order quantity, unit of price, etc. Okay. What we can also do with these views is expand them out. If I click on the expand button here, or what that will do is basically just take me to this documents list. So instead of just seeing this short view of my orders here at the top section, if I click on documents list, it takes me off to a separate page. And if I go to await and response with lines, you can see here all those lines now on one page rather than having to page through them like I had to on the dashboard. In any of the i2B views or pages, all these pages can be downloaded into Excel spreadsheets just by clicking on the download button. So wherever you see that, which is on, I would say 99% of the pages, if not 100, you can download all the information that's visible on the screen at that time into Excel. We can also change the sequence of these columns as well. So for example here, if I wanted to move the business area over, I could just click on it and drag it. For example, the buyer, if I wanted to move that over into this column, and so on and so forth. What happens then is that the system will remember the sequence that you wanted that page to be in the next time that you log in on this particular device. I can also switch on and off columns by clicking on the columns option here. So for example, if I'm not really interested in the company name, I know the vendor name, it's me, so I can switch that off. Particular dates, I can switch those off as well. And what you'll see is that this actually then starts to reduce the amount of information that's displayed on the screen. I can just switch them back on just by clicking back on their names. And again, what will happen is it will remember the columns that you've checked on or off the next time that you log in on this particular device. Okay, so that's the dashboard. You'll also see there's other information on the dashboard here, some nice graphs. So we can see here deliveries that are due over the next 12 months. If I toggle this, I can change that by week. And these are interactive graphs. So if I click on a particular column here, so this is due in January 2021, for example, if I click on that, what that will do is it will take me to a page and show me the purchase order lines that are actually due in that particular month. It's the same if I'd done it by a week. And I can also drill down on the orders that are viewed but not approved, that have changed. I can see here that there's 4, as we know that. There's the number 4 here, awaiting acceptance. So I can click on that and it will show me those orders. I can also see here that 50% of my deliveries have been on time over the past 31 days. If I click on the last 31 days here, that will show me a report of all my deliveries that have been made over the past 31 days. Okay, I can scroll over here and it will tell me a difference between the date that it was expected to be delivered and the date that it actually was delivered. Red is obviously bad. Amber means it was within a tolerance that your customer was happy with. Green is obviously the color that we're aiming for here to show you that that delivery was made on time. All this information is held within the i2B platform to help you see full visibility of all the orders that have been placed on you. So we've got view of our orders there. If I click down on a particular purchase order again, we've got some chat facilities here. So wherever you see this chat icon, it means you can actually converse with your buyer. So this is the purchase order number. If I click on here, on the chat icon, what I can do is click on and here and either enter some comments. It might be a query. It might be that you just want to pass some information back about that particular PO, some progress that have been made. Just enter in the comments there and click on send, and that will send an immediate message back to the buyer about that particular purchase order, and it will also put your comments into the history against that PO. We can do that at order header level, or we have a chat facility here at line level as well, so I can talk about a particular line. We have an attachment icon here as well. And what the attachment is for is to basically exchange documents at a PO and line level. So for example, if the buyer had wanted to send you some specifications or maybe attached a quote, that would be attached here. The pay-per-click icon turns red if there's actually any attachments behind there. So I can see here that there's actually no attachments being made by the buyer. What you can also do though is actually send attachments back just by clicking on the paperclip. If there was any attachments there made already, they would be available here to be able to click and download. Or I can upload documents myself by clicking on choose file. And what that will do is open up a window with a file picker, and I can then select a file off my device and then just click the upload option here, and that will then upload the document and send it to the buyer. Okay, so that's viewing orders and chatting with orders, printing and downloading orders. You can also make change requests. So if I click on change request vendor, what this does is opens up a screen and it shows me a list of purchase order numbers or purchase order lines that are available for me to make change requests to. Okay, so we have these particular purchase orders, these particular purchase order lines. What I can do here is click on the delivery date. So for example, this one here, line number 1 for PO 3267980. The requested delivery date was the 27th of December. What I can do is put in a different date. So let's say I can't actually make the 27th of December, but I can make the 10th of January. What I can do is just change the delivery date here. That automatically updates the line to say it's ready to send that update. I can then request maybe another change to some other POs if needs be. And then when I click on change request, what that does is it sends a change request to the buyer to say that you wanted to change the delivery date for that particular purchase order line. The buyer will then review that change request and they will either accept or decline it. If they accept it, you will receive an email back to say that yes, they're happy with that date change, and the purchase order delivery date will automatically change against that on that purchase order, and you'll be able to see that change come through via an email alert to say the delivery date has changed from, in this example, the 27th of December to the 10th of January. Buyers can also request changes as well. Okay, and what will happen if that if that happens is that there will be a number against the change request buyer on this screen. I click on that option. You'll see in this example that there's actually 2 there historically, but if there was any actually to action, there would be a number against the change request buyer. And it's a similar process to the change request vendor, but the flip side of it. So instead of you requesting a change to a delivery date, it's the buyer requesting a change to a delivery date. So what would have happened there is that you will have received an email alert from the buyer requesting a change to the delivery date. When you click on it, it'll take you through to this screen. And if there was any outstanding change requests, they would be available on here, and there would be 2 options available to you to either accept or decline them. And these are just tick boxes that would be active. Then what you would do is either accept or decline those delivery date change requests, and then click on the update button. As I say, it's the flip side to you requesting a change. And whether you accept or decline is up to you. And if you accept it, what it does is it then sends an email back to the buyer to say yes, that you're happy with that delivery date change, and it will automatically update the purchase order with that new delivery date. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint just to go through this process flow. So we've received an alert, we've actioned the alert, we've viewed our order, I've shown you how to chat with the buyer to print and download your orders, and also we've talked about change requests. The next thing that will happen is once that you've accepted your order and you're happy to proceed, is to actually inform your customer that your goods are on the way. We can do that through the i2B tool using shipping notifications. So let me go back to the platform. Okay, so to demonstrate shipping confirmations, I'm going to log in as a different vendor, in this case a vendor called Grufix, and I'll show you that process. Okay, so I'm now in as vendor Grufix, and what I'm going to do is click on shipping confirmations and take you through the shipping confirmation process. Okay, so when you're ready or you want to create a delivery note, or just confirm shipment of your goods or services to your customer, what you do, click on shipping confirmations, and this initial screen will show you a list of purchase orders and purchase order lines that are available to ship. i2B obviously has the PO numbers and the PO lines. We also have a list of the order quantities and what was already confirmed as being delivered. From that, we have an outstanding value available to dispatch. So what we can do here is just update that quantity to actually let your customer know how much quantity or service you have provided and is ready to be shipped. So for this example, what I'll do is for this particular purchase order line, I'm going to say that we're shipping one of those, 5 of those, and 1.5 of those. And what I do to add them to a shipping confirmation is click on these boxes and then create delivery notes. If I was just shipping one line, it's very simple. Just tick one line and update the quantity that's being dispatched in there. So next example, I'll just do the 3, and then create delivery note option is available to me. So click on the create delivery note button. It asks me for a number of things here. What is the date that it's due to arrive physically at the plant? So I can change the date here and say that this is going to be delivered on the 10th of December. What's my delivery note number? So this can be my Del note. This needs to be unique. Just type that in here. Del note 10th of December 2020. The shipping method in this example, is it coming by air, road or sea? Let's say it's coming by road, and any tracking information to help the buyer track that. So this might be provided by the courier, or it might be a web address or something like that. Let's just type something in there. Are there any documents required to go with this delivery? Yes or no? This might be quality certificates that you might want to upload. All you need to do, if that's what you want to do at this point, is just click on uploads and then choose a file or choose multiple files. You need to do them one at a time. So choose a file and then click on the upload button, and you can repeat that as many times as you wish, and then click on close. And then what will happen then is that will be a yes, and the documents will be there. For example, I'm just going to click on no to keep that simple. And then all you need to do now is click on update. And what that will do is generate a delivery note. Okay, so what that's doing in the background is sending an email to your purchasing representative to tell them that the goods are ready to be shipped or on their way. It will tell them when obviously they're due to be delivered, when they're due to arrive at the plant. And it generates a delivery note. Now, this might look slightly differently to the one that we're seeing on the screen at the moment, because this can be configured on a client by client basis. We also have a delivery note label as well, and this can look obviously different as well. But the idea here is that you would print off the delivery note label, or actually just print off the delivery note itself and attach that to the shipment. What I would recommend is speaking with your purchasing representative and asking them exactly what they would like to be attached to that particular shipment, whether it's the delivery note or a delivery note and a delivery note label, or just a label, or actually nothing at all. Just check with them first. Okay, so that's shipping confirmations. Once the goods have been shipped, what will happen then obviously is that they will be then goods receipted into your client's system, and this will then update your purchase order within the i2B platform. What we can then do is go into the vendor delivery screen and have a look at the deliveries that have been booked in by your customer. So you'll be able to see a list of your purchase orders, purchase order lines. And if I just scroll over here, that these are goods receipted, and we can actually see the quantity that was ordered and the quantity that was goods receipted. Okay, so hopefully these would match back to the delivery note that you had created through the shipping confirmations module. These quantity receipted numbers are automatically updated and are real time. So at any point in time, you can go into here and actually see what's been delivered and what's outstanding. We can also, by ticking the OTD, on-time delivery stat, to yes, we can do a quick check to see whether these were actually delivered on time or not. You can see in this example here that the top line was not delivered on time, the bottom line was within a tolerance. Okay, so that's the shipping confirmations and deliveries. Associated with that, we have multiple reports. If I click on the report section here, we can have a look at an open order report. Just click on that. And this will show us a list of all the open orders, order lines. We can also have a look at a planning report, for example. And this will break down what is outstanding into weekly buckets for you, so you can see what's overdue, what's due in next week, and so on and so forth, going forward 16 weeks. We could also get these reports, typically the open order report, sent to you automatically. So you may receive an email on a weekly or daily basis, which is just an open order report from the i2B platform, showing you in Excel format a list of all your open orders. Okay, so let's just go back to the PowerPoint for a second. So we've gone through receiving an order, action in the order, and shipping the order. It's worth mentioning at this point that everything that we've gone through on this training session has been through a web front end. i2B does have functionality to be able to deliver orders and receive acknowledgements back from you via EDI. If that is something that you would like to progress, you will need to get in touch with your purchasing representative and let them know that you would like to progress that route. What we will then do is communicate back with you and discuss the EDI options available. It's worth mentioning that the view that you see when you log into i2B, so the current orders, delivery dates, the graphical analysis, the on-time delivery stats, are the same for you, and it's the same view for your customer, for your procurement representative. They can see exactly the same information as you, so you're sharing the same view. We also have an invoice module within i2B to enable you to upload invoice information. That is covered in a separate training video. The description for that, or the link to that, we added to the description of this video below. Okay, let me just go back to the system one last look. Just want to go through the system one last time. So from logging in, we have the initial dashboard where you can view your orders. You can communicate to the purchasing representative, your buyer, through this tool using chat facilities, or by using the chat facilities by clicking on the order and clicking on the chat boxes. One thing I didn't mention previously was the ability to enter in your own vendor reference against each order that you receive. All you do is just enter in your vendor reference here and click on update. We have the functions to accept orders within here. So I can accept the full order. If I click on action, I can accept or decline with comments through that function there. Or I can accept my orders by going here, awaiting response. If there was orders here that hadn't been accepted, these are all accepted. But if there was any awaiting acceptance, there would be a tick box, and all I would do is tick them and click on the accept button. I can move my columns around by dragging them around. I can change which columns are viewed or viewable by clicking on the columns and ticking on or off columns. And we can change the language here as well. Okay. The last thing I'm going to go through is request for quotations. If you click on RFQs here, what might happen is that you will receive a request to quote for a particular part or service. And when I go into the request for quotations section here, I can see different statuses. So I can see here that this top one, I've already viewed it and submitted a response. This next one here, I've submitted and it was accepted by the buyer. This one here, these ones are new, so I'll show you how this works. So if I click on an RFQ that is new, so this one, 106, what I can do here is enter in some information regarding the RFQ response. So I can see here that the estimated value of this RFQ was €1,000. The quotation was created on the 19th of October and the deadline for a response is the 17th. I can type in my own vendor reference. I can specify how many days this quotation is valid for. And then I can respond back to the quotation by again clicking on the attachment icon and uploading maybe a quotation. I can enter in my own vendor, part number, important information like my lead time for this particular RFQ, any comments, the quantity that I can fulfill, and obviously the price. If I just click on save, what that will do is just save my progress so I can come back to this because obviously in this example there is only one line, but it may well be that there was multiple lines. I need to go back in and work on this at a later date. So all I would do is click on save to save my work. I can just decline the RFQ, and what that will do is just send a message back to the buyer to say I'm not interested in responding to this quotation request. Or once I've finished entering in my information, I click on mark complete, and what that does is basically sends all the information regarding that RFQ back to the buyer, and it changes the status to submitted. And then what I need to do is wait to hear back from the buyer to let me know whether they've accepted my quotation or declined it. Once it's accepted, what will happen then is that I will receive an email like before telling me that there is a brand new purchase order with a purchase order number, and we start the sequence as we did before. Okay, go back to the PowerPoint. So we've gone through the full cycle from receiving an order, actioning it, shipping it, all the way through to those goods being delivered and updating the order or your order within i2B. As I mentioned before, the whole i2B system is mobile device ready. It can be viewed on desktop, iPad, tablet, mobile phone. And what I wanted to touch on is ongoing support or questions. I'm sure you have some. i2B currently look after just over 30,000 suppliers globally throughout the world. So we've got offices there in the UK, in Australia, and in the US. But what we do ask is that your first point of call is your purchasing representative at your customer. They have the relationship with you, and we would ask you to contact them first if you have any questions or any further training requirements. If you'd like to discuss EDI, if you'd like to discuss anything, just please get in touch with them first. If, however, you're unable to get in touch with them, if you have any technical issues that you'd like to raise, if you have any interesting new features that you may like to see in the i2B system, we'd love to hear from you. Just get in touch with us at the support desk at i2b-online.com and we'll get back to you. If you feel that the system, the i2B platform, would be useful for yourself or your company, or more importantly, your procurement department, if you see a use for i2B within your organization, just drop us a line at hello@i2b-online.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your time today.